welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast. I'm Bobby.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Emilio. I'm just going to go with my name from now on. I'm going to just start letting my jokes that never make anybody laugh go. It's like,
oh, those were jokes.
You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. Hey, somebody likes them because we have two new patrons. Thank you, Brennan and Christopher. If you want to give us money or see what we look like or just kind of check out and you want to take that next step, just see what we're all about, dlgaming.net. That's where you can find everything. Except for, I think, any trace of Nick. Nick, is there any of you there? I feel like, obviously, if you click on an episode, you'll see you. But
he's on the Twitch page. I don't know if he's on the web page, though.
Yeah, he still hasn't cut his chops.
Yeah. I got this sexy guy on there. You guys haven't looked? Check this out.
I haven't been there in years.
There he is.
Oh, there he is.
Okay.
God, look at that.
Oh,
that's an interesting look.
There we go.
It is. He looks like a poet writer. Like he's looking for snaps.
Yes. Well, thank you very much to our patrons. We really appreciate it. We were in the talks of possibly doing part 2 of the NSFW podcast, maybe with a different spin on it. I don't know, something.
I was thinking like some stories. We've been through some shit. We just tell really good stories. I mean, 2 stories each or something. You know what I mean?
We can put up like the topic of the story and see if what people want to hear about. I don't know.
I still like taking questions, but I thought maybe we could try to fill them in a different direction. Cover things that we don't really talk about on this podcast.
But we have stories that could be adapted into blockbusters.
I think we all think that about our lives.
The fuck?
All right.
It's Cut Down Emilio Day, guys. Welcome to the show.
Sounds good to me, man.
No, we all think. I think my stories are great. Then I tell them, and people are like, okay. All right.
So,
well, you have to be a good storyteller. Go ahead, Nick.
So, there's a couple things that we want to talk about this week. We have a lot of stuff on the radar. First of all, I want to preface this. There's going to be a lot of Warhammer talk for me. A lot.
Why would you preface that? We expect that. The news would be. Hey guys,
I didn't say anything about Warhammer at all.
No Warhammer this week. So that would be news.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be a preface. So those 3 people that listen for that would just tune out. They're like, fuck this shit. No Warhammer this week. I'm gonna take my space marine armor.
Talk about Warhammer. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
But this week is it started in the beginning of this week was the Warhammer Skulls event. It's on until the end of this coming week, which is something that we didn't, I didn't even know existed. It's a festival / event regarding Warhammer video games. So there's a bunch of stuff announced. There's a bunch of stuff released, and everything's on sale. Even the games that aren't released yet are on sale. And like it's like a minimum of 10% off.
Yeah.
And so one that caught my eye, which is really like unique compared to a bunch of stuff, is it's called Blood and Teef with an F. And it's a platformer shooter. It's a twin stick, and you play as orcs, and it's all in 2D, and it's really cute.
Huh.
It looks pretty interesting. I don't think it's going to be expensive at all. Yeah, like if that's your deal, like you like running and gunning and stuff like that, I think this is the way to go.
Yeah, it looks like a kind of like a cartoony Contra or Metal Slug.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you play as orcs, and the way it's described as you're invading a hive city, and you got to kill your war boss, and that's it. I'm guessing there's going to be funny lines, voice lines, and stuff. It's multiplayer. They've shown that, like it's up to 4-player co-op. So, yeah.
I'd play this with you, Nick.
Yeah. We get Bobby to play.
No.
No. I don't know, maybe. These 2D platformers are very hit and miss for me. I really liked Guns, Gore, and Cannoli 1 and 2, probably because it was zombies and mobsters. I thought it was just a fun, interesting mix. But there's not a whole lot of these that I play anymore. I did see this, though. I scrolled down the page of all the deals that they were having. This one did catch my eye. The thumbnail art caught my eye. Then I clicked on it. I saw the gameplay, and I cooled on it a little bit. I wasn't as excited when I saw the gameplay. The co-op interests me, though.
Yeah, it looks like normal Warhammer debauchery. I also found out something about the orcs that I didn't know about. Emilio, did you know that the orcs were originally created to make fun of soccer hooligans?
No. And why do you single me out as if like I was going to be the guy who knows?
It's because you know a little bit about Warhammer, but no, they're
idea.
made to make fun of soccer hooligans, like the drunk, like irate, all dude soccer hooligans.
Yeah,
so.
that's funny. I guess they're hooligans for their god, right? Their god.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what are you guys looking at this week?
So this week, somebody posted a game called Backbone. Now this features Vancouver, Canada, and it is a detective noir 2.5D RPG game. It really reminded me of Black Sad. Do you guys remember that game? It was on the radar a long time ago. It has since came out. It had the anthropomorphic.
Yeah, I thought it was the same game.
Yeah,
I thought
this was that too.
It looks like it. This has a little more pixelated graphics. Black Sad was just CGI 3D animated. This looks more 2D point and click, like old school point and click pixelated graphics. But it's the same type of thing. You've got these anthropomorphic animals, detective noir, thriller, kind of like an RPG, point and click a little bit. It looks very interesting. No price yet. The setting is great. I love when they pick a setting. So Warconius posted this in the Discord, and he's from Vancouver, and he was posting screenshots and pointing out, oh, this is this area here and that area there. What a great thing to have your town featured in a game. That would be very cool. I don't think San Diego is going to be featured in any games anytime soon. But
you never know.
We were in a Call of Duty game. We were in Ghosts at the very beginning.
All the ones to be in, the worst one.
Yeah, the worst one, right? The last one that I played also. Well, no, I did play the when they went like fully online or whatever. But yeah, you can see Qualcomm Stadium and the Coronado Bridge, and they've kind of changed the layout. They've used the assets but moved them around a little bit. And it says San Diego, but yeah, we are in the beginning of Call of Duty Ghosts. But
we're always there for one shot, one shot or just a flyover. Like it's never featured except for that one movie, Anchorman. I checked out The Last Spell. That's somebody's posted that in our Discord. It seems like a mesh of a lot of different genres here. It's got essentially it's a wave defense game. Zombies are coming up to the town, and you have to defend it. It's got a little bit of tower defense because you could take your heroes and place them where you think you're going to be vulnerable. And then once the heroes and the zombies collide, if you will, then it becomes a tactical turn-based game. This is all set in kind of like a fantasy realm. At the better you do, the less the city gets damaged, the more items you get, the more XP you get, and the more. So it's almost like an RPG, also a tower defense, and also like a tactical turn-based game. So all those things tickle my fancy. So I might be checking this out.
All right.
It looks great too. Real dark, ominous type stuff.
Seems like it would be a good mobile game.
Rude, dude. Rude.
I mean, like, if you could make this work on a phone, like, a lot of people would play this.
The game you had looked like it could play on a Game Boy Color, dude. So
yeah, okay. Everyone liked the Game Boy Color. All right.
Yeah, aren't the Game Boy Colors like really expensive now? The games are like astronomical prices, like the original cartridges.
Something like that
makes sense.
Yeah.
Isn't it because there's an internal battery to keep saves and stuff, and like most of the ones that haven't been opened are like absurdly like priced.
Yeah, I don't know. This is just something I heard from a YouTube video. Yeah, the Pokemon games especially. Yeah, $1,500 for that Pokemon Game Boy Color game.
Damn, I had that too.
Oh, dang. Okay. Just really quickly, I want to mention that the new career came out for Warhammer II Vermintide. It is called Sisters of Thorn. It is for the Carillion character. I think that's how you pronounce it, although it sounds like the Han Solo's race, Carillion. Yeah. This just came out on the 3rd. I believe Saltspire is next. People are loving this. It gives this character who's kind of like a rogue, I guess, but with a bow. It gives her a spear or a staff, excuse me, and completely changes her play style. And everybody says it's big success. It's very a lot more engaging. Kind of like when I talked about the outcast engineer for the dwarf. It just makes the character so much more involved and fun to play. It's really unfortunate that all the best ones are behind a paywall.
That's what I'm gonna say. Do you think that was on purpose that they put their best stuff behind paywalls?
I would say yes and no. And the only reason I would say that is because think of it this way: like you play Left 4 Dead, you get the same guns and the same characters. And when I know a lot of feedback was made about if you're gonna have multiple classes for the characters and like the ults be a little bit different or the weapons be a little bit different, why not, if you're gonna have DLC, try something experimental? And that's something that like Fat Shark has said before is like if they're gonna do something and it's an add-on, it's gonna be experimental. Like when they make Vermintide 3, because they've already announced that they're making Vermintide 3, who knows if they're gonna like still keep these classes or change it up. So,
and not just that too, but they're learning as they go, right? So the first characters they made for Vermintide 2, they've gained a bunch of experience and tons of feedback from that. And they, you learn, it's a learning experience. They're better at making this game now. So
oh yeah, and they're using everything they've learned, and they've already said this, that they're using everything they learned for Darktide. And so they're just completely that's why I'm so excited about Darktide, is like it seems it's going to be polished when it comes out because of the fact they've been making Vermintide.
yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
Bobby, are you going to play the elf character now?
I've never played her before except for the first one. So I don't know. I really like the dwarf. All my experience is with him. I've got him up to like level 20, almost 25 now. And I've done a little bit on the priestess or the mage or whatever they call her, the witch. And I really like that character. But I know the rogue is a little flimsy. I usually prefer the tankier characters. So I don't know. I might try it out.
She can get two-shot in like on like the second to hardest difficulty. She can get two-shot by like some of like the average mobs. That's pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
She must do tons of damage. But Bobby said he's at the top of the charts with top of the charts with the chain gunner.
Huh? Yeah, with the outcast engineer.
Yeah,
who's basically a ratling gunner. Yeah. The problem is if I get overwhelmed by rats, then I'm done for. Although he is allowed to hold 3 grenades, which every other class only can hold 1. Wow. And the grenades are really great for getting you out of trouble like that. So, yeah, he does quite a bit of damage. One other thing I want to talk about, and this is kind of a few things. There was a leak about some games coming out from 2K, and the big news is Firaxis, makers of XCOM and the Civ games. They are making an Avengers game that is going to be a turn-based, a turn-based strategy game, turn-based tactics. I don't think they have a name yet for it. It was rumored, but it seems like the leak has been confirmed. And it's Firaxis. They know what they're doing, right?
Fuck yeah.
Like, these are the guys who made XCOM. Even if you took XCOM and just put like a Avengers skin on it and changed the abilities, people would be happy. So I think that'll be a big success. Some of the other things they talked about, though, was a new Borderlands game, Tina's Wonderland, I believe it was called. So,
because Tina's a DLC or a game?
Game.
Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm. Tina had a D&D DLC, which was fucking great.
Yeah, it was probably the best received ones.
Yeah, it was probably the best DLC ever in Borderlands. So hopefully it has something to do with that.
Yeah. The one other leak that they mentioned was codename Volt, I think, and it is. They say it's going to be Cthulhu meets Saints Row. It's going to have sci-fi and magic. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that one. It's from the guys, the developers that worked on Mafia 3. So I don't know.
Didn't the Mandalorian game get also leaked?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, so it's on Reddit that leaked that a Mandalorian video game is coming out, and it's supposed to be like what's that game that's kind of like a Dark Souls clone, but it's Star Wars. I think it's Fallen Order. What is it called?
Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, it's apparently supposed to be something like that, but you're the Mandalorian.
Okay.
I think we basically created the Bad Batch video game last episode, so I'm sure there's a leak of that coming out anytime, right, Bobby?
Yeah. You heard it here first.
We did it live on air.
Checks in the mail from Disney.
Guilty Gear Strive. Guilty Gear is a 2D fighter that's been around forever. I mean, this is like right after Street Fighter. The first Guilty Gear came out, Street Fighter 2. Within the first few years. And it's just kind of been one of these other fighting games, and it's never gone away. And Strive is this newest one. The graphics on this game are, as far as 2D graphics, I'm going to say it's probably the best I've seen. I mean, Dragon Ball Z's are really good, for sure. But this looks pretty fucking awesome. I can't speak for the mechanics. I know that some of the 2D fighter guys that I watch on YouTube, they've gotten early copies and they played the alpha and beta, and they say it's pretty good. So, a little avatar. And
so just like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, kind of like that. And you can go in there and find somebody in there that you would like to fight and then agree to fight there. Or you could put yourself in a queue to go to fight. And while you're waiting, you can go in the training room and just be training, which, there's a lot of games out there where you just wait and there's nothing you can do. I mean, I'd much rather just be practicing and waiting to get into something. So that's a nice little touch. Check out some video, though. The graphics are fucking insane.
I used to play Guilty Gear at a Red Robin a long time ago.
Probably the original one, right?
Places. Yeah. But that's my experience with Guilty Gear ever is Red Robin.
And the only reason you were playing is probably because they have a working Street Fighter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I remember when they had arcade games and Pizza Huts and 7-Elevens.
Oh, yeah. Remember Area 51?
Oh, I played so much of that game. Yeah, at the arcade. So much Area 51.
Who's next?
You guess me, right? So, more DLC for more Warhammer games. So everybody's been talking about Total War Warhammer 3. There's been a bunch of videos, literally a video every week of the stuff coming to Total War Warhammer 3. But they announced for the Skulls event that the final DLC for Total War Warhammer 2, which I now think makes 9 paid DLCs, is called the Silence and the Fury. And the 2 races, because they always choose 2 races to get the bulk of everything that's new, is the Lizardmen, which is the OG good guy race for Total War Warhammer 2, and then the Beastmen, who haven't gotten shown any love in well over 2 years. Like, they've received, I think 1 new unit in 2 years, which is insane. They always die first in the campaign. Like, they just instantly get wiped off the map. And so they're just not useful whatsoever. But this DLC introduces 2 new characters. There's Oxlotl, which is a little skink guy who's a part chameleon, so he can blend in. Fun fact about him, he killed a great unclean one with a poison dart. Figure that out. And then the second guy his name is Torox, and he is a minotaur that's twice the size of a normal minotaur, and his skin is made out of brass. So yeah, it's like I said, the final DLC coming out next month.
Is this what everybody's so upset about? I think we talked about this last week. A game was getting review bombed because they announced that they were no longer making content for it.
So that's Total War Warhammer. I mean, that's Total War. That's my fucking head messing up. Always want to talk about Total War Warhammer. That's Total War 3 Kingdoms.
Oh, 3 Kingdoms.
And so,
okay.
Yeah, Total War 3 Kingdoms is a Total War game about the romance novel, The 3 Kingdoms, which a lot of people have ever played Dynasty Warriors. That is what that game is about. And the reason why everybody was review bombing that and a bunch of other stuff is because they like publicly announced, and this is like the first time they've done this in a while, that they're no longer going to support a game. Before they announced that they were going to come out with more DLC for the game, continue to support the game. They said that they were going to support the game as much as they were supporting Total War Warhammer, and they've publicly announced that they're not. And so with that, a lot of people are review bombing it, especially because of the fact it's so popular in China, because it has to do with China. And so it's all, I guess you can say it's a business decision, because they're just making way more money off of Total War Warhammer. So.
All right. What about Chaos Gate?
So Chaos Gate, the only reason why I put this on is because it gave me a dad boner. Not only because it's about Warhammer stuff, but a lot of people know about the Astartes CGI fan film that one guy made, and it's well known as like the greatest fan film that's anyone's ever made, like that's just CGI. And he worked on the trailer for this game. This is supposed to be a real-time strategy Warhammer game featuring the Grey Knights, which are like demon hunters for the Imperium. And it got announced with the Skulls Festival, and it'll be coming out, I believe, mid next year. So
cool, man. Is Warhammer overall? Do you think it's gaining popularity? Feels like it, doesn't it?
Well, their stock almost tripled in price in the last 2 years. So
yeah,
that's a yes.
So. Yeah, that's definitely
and surprisingly enough, a lot of the people that say that that the reason why they've gotten into Warhammer is because of the animations being made on YouTube. And so Games Workshop can single-handedly say thank you to about 4 YouTubers that made these things. And it's just astronomically exploded. There's so many new people. Like my local game store removed half of their Magic the Gathering section just to have Warhammer tables for people to play on now.
Yeah, if nothing else, that's a pretty good indicator of what's going on.
Yeah, and they used to be like, I think it was like 70% Magic, 20% Pokemon, and then 10% Warhammer, and now it's almost like 40-40 or 40 Magic, 40 Warhammer, and then 20% Pokemon.
Hey Nick, so once you buy,
it's pretty nuts.
Once you
because no one had nothing to do for a year and a half besides stay at home and paint shit. You know?
Oh, that's true too. And Nick, once you buy all the models, do you have to spend any more money? Like new books come out and shit, you have to buy the books, or how do they get you to keep spending money, or they just keep making cooler models?
Both. So when new rules come out, you have to buy them, unless
God, it's like Scientology.
there's some things that you can do and Google.
Yeah, you could just get a PDF if you wanted to, right?
Yeah, there's also a website that's hosted by a Russian company that just has all the data sheets for all the characters and the rules and stuff.
Yeah. If they were smart, they would have a really easy app to use to look everything up that you pay for.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Games Workshop is notorious for making terrible apps supporting the like the actual tabletop game. And so you can just, look it up, just Google, hey, I need a data sheet for this Devastator unit, and then you'll find it. So
yeah.
But yeah, no, there's new models all the time. But yeah, enough about that.
Yeah. Oh, you cut yourself off. Thank God. All right, cool. We got the game of the week, guys. Nick said we need some new life in this podcast. How about we all play the same
Hell
game?
Yeah.
So here we are. Tell us a little bit of the backstory, what you know about this game, Bobby or Nick.
So this game, I got to play about 4.5 hours of it, which was pretty good so far, in my opinion.
Well, to be clear, we're talking about Daze Gone. Daze Gone is the game.
Oh yeah,
Jesus Christ, people!
I want to cut him off.
All right, I'm nervous.
I'm nervous.
So yeah, no, we played Daze Gone. All 3 of us, or all 4 of us, I'm guessing, played Daze Gone. it's specifically about a biker named Deacon Deacon St. John. And he is a biker, part of a biker gang called the Mongrels. This disease spreads through and turns people into essentially 28 days later zombies. He escapes and manages to survive, and it takes place 2 years after the invasion, or not invasion, but the infection of his town. But so far, it's been pretty fun. How much were you guys able to play?
I played a good amount. I played about 5 hours, I'd say, maybe a little bit more.
Wow, when does this happen? I played the most. I made hours in to it.
Okay. So I'll say where I'm at because I played the least. I just visited Sarah's gravestone.
Okay. And you lit her on fire?
No.
Oh.
No. That is Victoria.
Oh, okay.
Sarah, his wife. Have you gotten to that point yet?
No, I haven't. That's funny because I made hours in and I haven't got to that point.
Have you met the second settlement?
No.
Oh man, you've been doing a bunch of side shit then.
Yeah, I'm doing like 100%. That's how I always do it, man. I do 100% stuff and then I get burned out on stuff. But I haven't yet.
So Bobby, where are you at then?
I'm not sure. It all kind of bleeds together for me, honestly. If I understand this correctly, so this game is basically zombie apocalypse happened, but you're playing a biker and you have survived. The world has survived. Everyone's got their own little settlements built up. There is societies built, and you interact with those people. You can earn fame or reputation with them. There's also this group of people. What are they called? The guys who like to burn things.
Oh, the Rippers?
The Rippers,
Oh.
yeah. So, of course, in all zombies movies, you have this group of people that just lose their mind, right? But somehow stay a little organized. So these guys mutilate themselves, and they like to capture people, torture them, and burn them. So you got to watch out for that. And then you're also killing zombies as well.
I was telling Sam I was like, well, there was these cultists. I was like, there's always fucking cultists, aren't they, at this point?
Yeah, always.
But what I like about this game, so it seems kind of linear, at least at the point that I'm at now. Like it takes me to an area, and then I have like a little open world experience there where I have to go through this little small map, and I've got to burn nests, kill zombies, retrieve a part, and then escape with it.
It's almost like a small linear level within this giant open world game.
Yeah. So does that open up at some point where it's just like, boom, you have this huge map, you go wherever you want, or does it continue to take you to these little open world places and you progress through?
I feel like generally it's like that. It's like small roads that take you to these like, a small town, and you gotta...
Which I kind of like. It's a little more direct. The open world games, and this is just a personal preference, like I don't like them too much because I like my games to be a little more focused. But I noticed the quests, if you go to the menu and you look at the quests in this game, you have these different stories that are going on, and you progress in each one a little bit here and a little bit there. So the one you start off with, I can't remember what it's called.
They're not even called quests. They're called storylines in this game.
Yeah, they're just called storylines. Yeah.
So I really like that idea of having multiple storylines, and because usually you have one main quest line and a bunch of side quests. And we've played games. We know how it works. You only have to do the main quest, and you can do the side quests if you want. Most people will do a little bit of side quests, get bored, and then finally just plow through the main storyline. Right. But this one has kind of multiple stories happening at the same time, but you progress on each one a little bit at different times, and they kind of tie into each other. It's a really interesting way of doing the questing system. I really enjoyed that part.
And what you could do, too, is like if you're not caught up, you can kind of review what has happened so far in that storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can play the cinematics back as well.
Yeah. So that's a nice part of it.
There's a lot of story in this game, a lot of cut scenes.
It's generally why you're here, bro. Like, I was thinking about this. It's like mechanically, there's not a lot of new shit here. The motorcycle part is cool. It's kind of like your home base in a way. I really like the mechanics behind the motorcycles.
Have you gotten your saddlebags yet?
No, I expanded the gas tank and the muffler so it wouldn't be as loud.
But we've seen this before. The Mad Max game had this where you upgrade your vehicle.
No, but what I liked about it was like
the
subtle parts of it where you can have it on and just kind of push with your legs, and you're kind of like stealthing through. And then and also, when you're running from a huge mob, you have to jump on that thing, get it started, and get going. And there's like that second or two of like, holy fuck, am I going to do this fast enough? Am I going to push these buttons fast enough? I really like that whole thing. And after you finish a section, you always got to go back for your bike. I just kind of like, it's very bike centric.
Yeah, you always,
Yeah. I like that part of the game. It's a horror survival game, right? But it's not scary all that often. Were you guys scared very often?
No, there's not a lot. At the beginning, they start you out in that tunnel and you learn how to burn a nest, but there's not really a lot of dark areas. Things jumping out at you. No, it's not like.
Oh, it gets worse. Game. It gets worse.
The one time I've been scared was not zombies or humans. It was a fucking wolf. I was hiding in the bushes from zombies, and then this wolf just tackles me. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, as I was in the office alone and dark, and I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna shit myself.
I'm glad you brought that up, dude, because this is one thing that open world games do, but it's not scripted. Unscripted, crazy shit that happens, we probably won't have the same experiences. I've had some crazy shit happen in this game already. I came back to my motorcycle, as you have to, and some dude was like checking it out. He was trying to like hotwire it. I was like, what the fuck? So I fucking blasted his ass, and then little did I know, wolves were hunting him. Like, wolves were like coming up and started chewing on him. Of course, they fucking jumped on me after that. I was like, what is going on around here? Another time, it was funny. I was driving, and if you would ask me, I'm like, oh, there's probably 4 zombies chasing me right now. So I slow down my motorcycle and I get off and I turn around and there's a horde behind me. It's at least 50, 60 strong. I'm like, how the fuck did that happen? But motorcycles make a lot of noise. At times, it can be really scary. Bobby, the second tunnel that you have to go through, just like that first one, it's almost exact, right? But you don't have Boozer with you. And you have to do the whole thing by yourself. So you have to move the motorcycle up a little bit until where you can't go, and then clear out the way. But the first time you're going through and you're shooting everything, making sure it's safe. Now you're doing both parts, and that was the scariest part of the game for me, for sure, so far. Yeah.
Yeah, the actual gameplay of the game, like the actual mechanics and everything, it was pretty standard.
Yeah,
I felt.
Feels like a Far Cry games at some points. You can like take out your binoculars and pinpoint all the bad guys.
Yeah, you can tag all the enemies, and you have to craft things. You have to gather stuff, switch through weapons, upgrade items. Yeah, I mean that all seemed pretty default to me. I think what people are really liking about this game, it must be the story. Right?
I think it's the story.
I like the storyline idea. I think that's really cool. But other than that, the game didn't really grab me. I looked up how long this game was. 40 hours for the main campaign. It's a long game.
Yeah, I think that's how...
It's definitely, from my understanding, like what people have said, it's like you will get your $40 worth from this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you actually played it through the whole thing.
The game's $40.
$50.
I got it for $33.
Oh, it's $60.
And then I had Steam credits.
So. Oh, I'm sorry, $50 American.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's good if you want to get your money's worth. And yeah, this game will definitely give you that. I don't know if I could play it all the way through though. It's
a lot.
It's a lot of time. And for me too, I realized I spent way too much time in that first opening area. Like I always do this. I just scoured the entire region. I killed every single zombie. I looted every single thing. And what difficulty did you guys play on? I played on normal, and I felt like I was just resource management was not a problem at all.
Well,
on hard, not extreme hard, but a hard.
I was thinking just like you, Bobby, where the resource management, keep playing. It gets a lot more scarce out there.
Okay.
Almost everything. Yeah. Almost everything that I do, every area that I go, there's less and less resources. So I'm starting to become more and more careful on how I spend them.
So there's a couple things that I wanted to point out, and Dwight Dynamite said this in the chat as well. The fact that this is like I've only ever had one bug, and it's because I tried to create a bug to happen, and that's my camera skyrocketed into the air for 2 seconds and then came back down. But dude, I've had
Zero
no
bugs.
problems,
Zero.
no crashes, not even my NVIDIA recording software like crashing at all. Like it has been so smooth and so good. And this is the one time where it's like, when this game came out, everybody's like, "Oh, it's gonna be a great game. You gotta play it on PlayStation, all this stuff." I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait until everything's fucking like. I'm not gonna read anything about the game. I'm not gonna do anything about it. I'm just gonna wait till it's all patched out and play it. And I'm so glad I did that for this one.
As I was playing it, I'm like, man, compared to The Last of Us 2, it's almost, you can't even compare them, Just one has so much more money behind it, so much more talent behind it. But it is very, very similar as in the world that you're playing in. And so it kind of makes me feel like I'm playing in that world, but you can't compare the two really.
No, one is essentially like a hardcore novel, and the other one's like, hey, this is, a comic.
Yeah. Overall, I think it's a good game. If I were to continue to play it, it would probably be mostly for the story. I think. Another just little thing that I noticed here: a lot of times, zombie-related stuff just ignore children. Like they just don't have children. Here, it's like a prominent.
Oh no!
It's like a prominent.
It is addressed.
Yeah. They have their own like.
It is
subclass.
hard to look at when you have a kid.
What do they call the little zombies, the baby zombies? They crawl on the roof and they skitter away.
Skitters, maybe, or something like that. I'm not sure what they are. You can fuck them up. They're generally like they wait for you to be hurt, or invade their turf before they attack you. But
Newts.
They're creepy, man.
Is that what they're called? Newts?
Yeah, that it is.
Newts,
They remind me
yes,
of the compies in Jurassic Park. Like they aren't aggressive, but they stand by and they're very curious. But then when they see an opportunity, they'll jump on it.
Yeah. I would say the game is getting better as I play it. I'm enjoying it more. So I think I'll keep plugging away at it for a little bit. But like I was trying to tell Bobby here, like mechanically they didn't do anything new. There's nothing particularly super fun about the mechanics, but the overall feeling of the game is like I'm having a good time going through it, even if moment by moment you're not having fun, and you're there for the story. And this is kind of where Sony makes their money. They make these really big, epic stories wrapped up in a video game, and they do it well. It's for people with a lot of time on their hands.
Yeah. Well, still 40 hours. That's a long time, but it would take me a lot longer just because I kind of move slowly through these types of games.
One thing that I want to mention before we finished, as someone who's played a bunch of PlayStation games, a bunch of like story games like this, I know Bobby doesn't really like single player story games that much, especially open world ones. One thing that I like about the game so much is the bike resource management as far as like gas. Like any game where you can't just fast travel immediately, like when you feel like it, like i.e. Fallout and things like that. And like in this game, you need gas, you need your bike to be in good condition. Like that I love. Like when luxuries become a challenge because you fuck up some way, that's what I like.
Yeah. I was definitely checking my gas before fast traveling, before and after, and be like, okay, where am I at? Gas isn't super scarce, but just like everything else, I think it's probably going to become more scarce as I go through the game. But yeah, having to pay a price for fast travel is good. I mean, it forces you to go through all this world. If you run out of gas, you can go through this world and just start exploring as you would. If you ran out of shit as you were out there, you'd have to start scavenging for shit.
Oh.
All right. Sounds like we're all pretty positive on this game.
Yeah. Are we going to do the review thing? What are we doing? Are we doing pops? How many pieces of
how many-
popcorn does this deserve?
How many newts out of 5 would you rate this game, Bobby?
I'm not
How
going
many
to rate this
newtons?
game after 5 hours of play.
Yeah.
For me, it's I'm gonna finish it. Am I gonna finish it? Like, am I gonna crank out 3 hours every day on it? No. Am I gonna play like 1 or 2 hours a week and eventually beat it? That's where I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, Bobby, is it going to get the old delete right after this episode? Or
Yeah.
oof, take that. Take that hundreds of thousands of work hours that went into this.
I don't know.
What about you,
it's not
Emilio?
my type of game.
I'm not going to delete it right away if I find myself playing it. Like, it's the only big game that I have installed right now, so I can see myself going back to
This
it.
game was huge. How much space did it take up for you guys?
I didn't even notice.
I think
60
yeah, I
gigs
think
or
it
something
was
like that.
60.
Now that I have 2 terabytes, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
2 terabytes goes quick. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what other games are you guys playing this week?
Bobby, let's talk about...
I'm so sorry. I forgot to mention. The game of the week next week is Core.
Oh, yeah. Core. That's the Epic Games do
Roblox.
as you please program, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a game building game. Don't make fun of them. Risk of Rain was originally made on Game Maker. Awesome things can come out of these things. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And I'm glad we're going to do a game that we can supposedly play together if we can find the time. It'd be nice to all
And
get
it's
in
free.
this. Yeah, it's free. Hopefully we can all get in at the same time. Fridays are good for me.
I'm going to try to get in on your guys' Fridays. I'm going to try to make a point of it.
I can probably show up Friday as well.
Cool.
But yeah, what other games have you guys played? I've heard so much about this, Star Wars Galaxies restoration that I only got to play literally 12 minutes of.
So yeah, we've been talking about this the last couple of weeks. Star Wars Galaxies, the restoration project. I got pretty deep into it this week, played quite a bit. I believe I'm up to level 16 on there, and it's a very difficult game to explain. It would be very boring for me to sit here and explain how everything works, but it is very different from the MMOs that I'm used to. A lot of the leveling systems don't really apply. It is kind of like basically you do something and you level that up, and you can really go in any direction. It is an old game, obviously. So there is a lot to learn and a lot that is of that old era that would probably turn off a lot of players. Fortunately, I had people who could answer a lot of the questions I had, and I was able to get to a point in the game where I was able to figure it out, basically. And I don't know. I'm kind of concerned that I'm playing it for the wrong reasons right now, like it's just a grind. But there are some fun things about it. Of course, playing with friends is always a lot of fun, and I enjoy the class system that they have. It's such a complicated thing to explain. I feel like we made
Basically,
such improvements.
you're a conglomeration of the skills that you pick, not so much a hard class.
There are branches where you can level up. You can go from brawler to pikeman or brawler to Terras Cassia. You can go in those directions, but really you really put your talent points wherever you want, and you can create any type of hybrid character that you want. Now the problem is when games do that, I always think the same thing. Who cares? I don't want to be whatever I can be. I want to be whatever's the best. I want to min-max this. And
So what'd you get into? Or what are you trying to get
I'm
into?
building my guy incredibly tanky.
Okay.
And that's probably going to be all that he does. He's not... I can make another character and explore
Not gonna dance on the side?
artisan side. No, I would really like to explore that because that's part of the game that I have no clue how that works. So the next character that I make would probably be somebody, maybe like a pilot or a shipwright, like that whole star travel thing. I don't understand either. So there's large parts of the game that I have yet to explore. But right now I'm just kind of doing the combat side of it. It's an old MMO though, so there's a lot of go out there and kill 10 of these or go talk to this guy, a lot of fetch quests. The project seems to be going pretty smoothly though. There's been a lot of...
Now, after a bad launch.
Well, yeah, and there's been problems here and there. They've had to reset the servers. One day I loaded in and my customized land speeder wasn't customized anymore and it wouldn't work. I'd try to travel a distance and it rubber band me back, and then they shut down the server, restarted it, everything was fixed. So, yeah, and they're still dealing with a lot more people than they had intended. The lag is pretty bad when a lot of people get on there. And, on top of that, it's an old game. I haven't found a way yet to increase the font size on a lot of things. So it's very, very tiny on my high resolution monitor. There's, it's an old game now. Of course, I'm accustomed to those.
A connoisseur, if you will.
Yeah. So I don't mind it as much as most people might, but I'm having a good time. It's Star Wars.
Christian, if somebody wanted to play this, what would they have to do?
They would go to the site, make an account, and download the game.
What's the site?
You also need a professional guide like Sniper, where it's like, okay, now you put this here and you put that there, and now you press Enter 2 times to be able to get in the game.
And now you're a Jedi.
You gotta press Alt and then Shift to make the game full screen.
Yeah, you have to rub your tummy and pat the top of your head at the same time. Yeah, it's restorationgaming.com to check it out.
Bobby, did you hear? I don't know if it's still like that. Have you inquired about what it takes to become a Jedi?
Well, on the website, it says that it's a hidden way to become a Jedi.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you can really do. There are things, it could be something totally random that you can do, and then you will be force sensitive, and then you can branch off into the Jedi path. And nobody really knows what that is, so it's something the players have to discover themselves. And you may not even realize what it is that you've done once you acquire it. So it's going to keep the Jedi very rare, which is cool.
Yeah. The way that I remember reading it, or it was explained to me, is when you make your character, three abilities are chosen, and then if you max out those 3 abilities, then you become force sensitive. But the chances of you, just by happenstance, maxing out those particular ones that you were prescribed, you don't know what they are. So you would have to lose an ability, gain another one, and try to figure out. And who knows how many combinations there are.
Yeah, that's how it was on live. That's what the hollow grind is called. This server has a completely custom one. You have to, it's more about where your character goes, and then a portion of it is also tied to where the server's at. So if someone has already unlocked part of Jedi, your unlock for Jedi is going to be a lot harder. It's going to be different. It's going to be different for each person.
Oh, I see. That's cool.
Oh, that's good.
And Jedi are so strong in the game that the player class bounty hunter can, when they hunt them, they can steal their lightsabers like General Grievous or whatever. And the lightsaber for the Jedi in the game is super important. Losing it is, I don't know. When the first person loses their lightsaber, who knows? They might quit the game. I have no idea. It's really hard to build a lightsaber in this game. So there's huge risk reward to, even if you do unlock the class, what happens after.
I'm 100% cool with that, man. I think it's so cool that just a select few people will have those powers,
I like how it's not the sweatiest person gets the coolest shit.
It's the luckiest.
It can be pretty much be chance. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what I was wondering, I was looking this up on Twitch to see if anybody was streaming it, and it seems like there is still a version of this game out there that people are playing, but it wasn't this one, and I was a little confused by that.
Yeah, so there's a couple emulation servers. They most likely were playing this game because I pulled the numbers for it. They're probably just in a different area. But if they weren't playing this game, they were playing Legends. The Legends project takes Star Wars Galaxies in its last state, whereas the Restoration project takes kind of a bit from every single era. So the Legends, you have 9 classes only. It's much more like a traditional MMO.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that was in its last state. And I saw another one that was just an Empire Divided, I think it was called. Maybe that was a different one.
There's separate categories on Twitch because this was around when Twitch first started getting started. So I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe someone just picked a different category.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to find this game on Twitch. But yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to doing stuff as a group. I think I'm a high enough level now that we could start grouping up and doing stuff. I know you talked, Christian, about going to Jabba's Palace and doing a quest line there.
Yeah, the Jabba's Palace stuff is actually pretty fun, and my character is level 16 too, so I'm excited. And I mean, we got a couple other people. If we can all get to that level and do Jabba's Palace or anywhere, it's really fun to just. Oh man.
Hey guys, whatever. We could do anything. It's all fun. It doesn't matter.
As long as you guys play with me, we could do anything.
Okay. You got me. Stop the beating.
Well, it is very difficult to get into, I think, because I mean, unless you have. What was happening on Friday is we were all in a voice channel and people would hop on at different times, and they were all at different levels for the most part. And everybody that was new just had so many questions, and they were all the exact same questions I had to ask when I was starting out. There's just a lot to this game that is really hard to figure out. I don't think people are used to games being this difficult, and there's not a lot of resources out there online. So I was doing a search. I got my speeder bike. I clicked on the deed. It pops out. Ooh, I can drive it. And then I put it away, and I couldn't figure out how to get it back for the longest time. I'm searching all over the internet. How to get vehicle, call vehicle, Star Wars Galaxies. I'm finding nothing. Finally, I found something somewhere that said, press Control D and bring up your data pad. And I pressed Control D. It doesn't bring up the data pad. But then eventually I found out where the data pad was and was able to bring it and put it on my action bars.
Sounds like so much fun, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work. But once you put in the work at the beginning, then you start kind of moving right along. I'm looking forward to the
build the Millennium Falcon for your keyboard. You know, you can play it.
Mm-hmm.
Sniper, what's your character?
I have two characters. So the one that I'm getting deep into is a tailor and an armorsmith. That's a crafting profession. I have a shop set up, and I'm making money, man. I even had to make a spreadsheet to sell everything in. It's too much fun. And then my other character is a support class, so I want him to be a master carbineer and a master doctor, so we can buff the group, get some heals in. Carbineer is going to be setting status of enemies, so like your roots and stuns and stuff like that from ranged.
Oh, gotcha. Crowd control. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, so if we all do it, oh man, the funnest one that we can do is Hoth. We can all get in speeders, bring some AT-ATs down, or AT-ATs, I don't know what you say. And yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'd like to go. You start out on Tatooine. Tatooine's such a boring planet, and they always... So much of the Star Wars universe takes place there. And then in the new one, they're just like, hey, we got Jakku now. It's basically new Tatooine, just as boring. Bunch of dirt. But yeah, you start out there, and it's kind of cool. They got the Tashi Station and Mos Espa and Watto's Junk Shop. You know, they got all the places. But I'm looking forward to getting off that planet, doing something else.
Wait, nobody told me it's got all the places, Bobby.
Got all the places?
It's got all the places,
all
Nick.
The usual spots.
Nick, tell me about a place. It's called Necromunda.
Yes, Necromunda. I'm going to end my segment on Warhammer because of the fucking Skulls Festival. This game completely blindsided me. I didn't know it existed. It's called Necromunda Hired Gun. It is interesting. It is essentially a Doom clone, a Doom 2016 clone. You jump, you got a grappling hook, you got dashes, and you got brambling, and you got double jumps, and it handles like a Doom. It is a Warhammer skin. So Necromunda is a hive city, the biggest hive city of all time. There is a bunch of gangs, and you're a mercenary, and it starts off with the whole like mission gone wrong kind of thing. The game has a bunch of different types of enemies, a bunch of lore, like specific guns and weapons and classes and stuff. And dude, to me it's just fun. Like it's like if I got 30 minutes, I can play a mission of this, and then I'll be satisfied, and then just come back the next day and keep going.
When you said it's like Doom, does it also have the melee like executions?
Yes. Yes. It has the glory kills. It changes on your weapon and stuff like that. You also have a dog, which is pretty nice. Unlike Doom. Uh, I from my understanding, there are some people that have had some pretty rough times running the game. I have not had a single crash on the game so far. Haven't had any bugs or anything. Like it's perfectly normal for me. But yeah, if you like Doom clones or you like Warhammer stuff, it gets real detailed on the guns as far as like customability, what you can pick up. Everything's random, so you can pick up a shittier version of a gun that you picked up before. Um, I'm I'm about uh 4 hours in, so it's pretty cool.
Sounds like you agree with the population. It's like 75%. Nick, is that what you would give it at?
For me, it's like 90%.
Wow.
It tickles all the Warhammer stuff for
Yeah.
me. But if I wasn't a Warhammer nerd, then yeah, it would be 70%. I'm still gonna play through it. Apparently, it's about a 7 hour, 8 hour game. So
That's
yeah.
a good style and nice graphics for sure. It looks like a AAA
Oh
game
yeah,
to me.
it's only $33 right now on during the sale.
That's a good
So
price.
yeah, it's worth $33 in my eyes.
So last week I picked up Tainted Grail Conquest. Remember Conquest because there's two Tainted Grails. The other one isn't out yet, and it sounds like it's an RPG set in the same world. They probably It's been done before where somebody takes a full on game and then takes the assets of that and make a roguelike. Because in roguelikes, you reuse the same assets over and over and over again. So it's easy to take. Well, I'm saying easy from not being a developer, but it sounds pretty easy to like take the assets you already had and then put them into another game. So that's what this is. It seems like they took the assets of this main game that they're trying to come out with, and they made a card-based roguelike. I love this fucking game. I played it till like 4 in the morning. Like I talked about last week, it's a card-based roguelike with fully 3D rendered graphics. We're not talking about AAA, but it definitely gets the job done. Every time you venture out into the forest is randomly generated. It's really just paths in there's like different trails you can go down, and you can see where the monsters are. And it's crazy out there. There's this thing called weirdness, spelled with a Y, and that's just kind of like the overall magic that's flowing through the world, and you can keep it at bay with a torch. A lot of like darkest dungeon in that way. So when you're going through the forest, where there's a boss, you don't know where he's at. You got to kind of find them. You have these torches out, and when you get into an encounter, depending on your torch level, you'll get these random cards throughout your fight. And if you have a bright torch, they're generally going to be positive. If you have medium, they could go either way. And then if you have no torch, they're always bad. And you have to either play them, which is bad, or if you don't play it, an even worse thing happens. So it kind of forces you to play these cards. I first started playing with the warrior, and it's so much like Slay the Spire, but it doesn't look like it at all. The mechanics are very similar, especially the first warrior that I was playing. I was like, okay, this is just like a fancy Slay the Spire. And then I unlocked the second character, which is a summoner, and it was so unlike. I mean, the entire game changed for me. It was like playing a different game. The summoner doesn't really attack. He doesn't have weapons. He summons these little creatures, and it's almost like you're playing Pokemon because you got to like level them up. This is during a fight. They all start off at level 1, and you have to level them up and then activate them to make them attack. And it's all about this like creature management and resources. You're just kind of like balancing and also trying to keep your physical body alive while it's getting attacked. So it was a completely different game, and it really the summoner really spoke to me. Like I was like, oh, this is my shit. There's like 7 other classes, and if the variance in gameplay is so different in each one of those other 7, there's going to be a ton of gameplay here. In general, I like the story. It's basically like you're in King Arthur's time, and you're part of this pilgrimage. Is that the right word? No, not a pilgrimage, but like people who explore, like a settlement, and your whole settlement disappears, and things get really weird. And then this creature comes out, and he's like, I don't know what's going on. Nobody really knows what's going on, but you got to go out there and you got to fucking beat these bosses. And you're like, why? And he's like, nobody really knows. You just got to get out there. And it's like, okay, it's a way to explain a roguelike. And I kind of like it because, like, you can't really explain a roguelike. You're just going to keep spawning and go out there. It's making sense. I want to go out there and explore and find out more about this weirdness. You find people out there all the time. There's tons of people out there, and they're lost, and they don't know what the fuck's going on. Some of them have varying degrees of understanding of the weirdness, so you're starting to piece together a little tiny bit. I'm enjoying that aspect. Every once in a while, you can find the right person, and they'll go back to your home base and become part of your town and make your town stronger, and there's your roguelite part of it. It's a good fucking game, man. I'm having a really good time. Imagine Slay the Spire with story, visual depth, and Slay the Spire on its own is already like a 9 out of 10 game or a 10 out of 10 game. It's a great game. And then you just add all these other things to it that aren't bad. And yeah, I'm fucking digging it. Yeah, Bobby, I want you to play this. I think you'll like it.
All right. Yeah, maybe I'll check it out. I did really enjoy Grifflins, although I do not care about story and the graphics. I mean, they're nice, but they're not necessary.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, if you're gonna,
is so fucking fun.
What is? Oh, you like it? Why don't you put on your notes?
I got 4 hours into it. It's fun. I like it.
So, and Nick, have you played these games before? These card-based combat games?
Only one, and I can't even remember the name of it. I just didn't like it. That's why I kind of threw it to the side. But Grifflins is a banger, dude.
Yeah, it's a great game. It was really my first card-based combat game. I never played Slay the Spire, so I was kind of wondering, maybe it's just my first time experiencing this. That's why I like it so much. But I do really think it's a fantastic game.
But what I'm saying, Bobby, like, if Slay the Spire is a good game or a great game, and then you had better graphics, you'll take them, right? You'll take Slay the Spire with better graphics over Slay the Spire.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
I guess why not?
Yeah, why not? And the ambiance and everything. It's cool. Oh, the character design is great too. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we've got a lot of listener questions, so we should get to that. Before we do, thank you very much to Recycled coming in at 34 months with the subscription.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, man.
With all that Dogecoin you made, you should be tipping much more. Tip us some Doge, dude.
It's going to be, he's almost 3 years.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Wow. Hell yeah.
Time flies. All right, first question's coming from Waronius. What are some of your favorite memories of games being announced during E3? Anything from the PC gaming show that you saw last year that turned out to be a great game for you? Yeah, E3 is coming up. It's right around the corner here. It's going to be happening.
The first time they did the PC gaming show, and I was there physically at E3, it was very small. It was like no more than 8 or 12 screens, and they each had an indie title on it. Do you remember this, Bobby? Were you there that year? It was very small.
I've never been to E3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been twice. And anyway, it was the first time they were doing this, and I went around and I played some very early alphas of games that ended up being, I guess none of them really broke out, but Deep Sky Derelicts was one of them. But that's really hard to play as a demo and like get an idea of what you're playing there.
Yeah.
You could just get a look for it.
There's a lot of long-term mechanics in that game.
Yeah. There was a samurai game where you played as a black guy. It was a black and white game. But anyway, it was very cool to see things in alpha and then see them come out, especially since there was never really PC at E3s, at least not in a all in one place. You might find a booth here, a booth there.
Well, E3 has always been more about the console games.
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
wasn't only until a couple recent years ago it started having the PC Gamer Show and a little more focus on PC gaming. But for the most part, it hasn't been a huge event for PC gamers. And even the PC Gamer Show itself tends to focus more on indie games. Devolver is heavily involved, or has been in the past with them, showing off a lot of their stuff. They put on a pretty good show.
Yeah. And Devolver did that virtual festival. Do you remember last year or so?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really liked how they did that. So they had the virtual festival, and you got to play the demos of the games on Steam.
Yeah. Meanwhile, avoiding bots that were like drones that were trying to capture you. The idea was that you were sneaking in before the show and getting an early take.
Yeah, they had this whole setup. I thought it was pretty creative.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, in this day and age with all the leaks that we have and the way that games are released, and so much about them before they come out, and so much changes in development too. Like it's very difficult for a company to announce a game and show off the product when they don't even know what exactly it's going to be. Yeah. So either on one hand you get just like a teaser trailer that doesn't give you very much. Maybe it's like a cinematic trailer. It doesn't tell you anything about the game. Or you get shown actual gameplay footage and it changes by the time it releases. Like it's difficult to avoid or to go in between those two obstacles.
I got to play the Lord of the Rings game early on. What is that thing called? The one where
Shadow of Mordor?
Yeah, Shadow of Mordor. Sequel? I believe it was the first one. It was the first one because I remember the whole system where there's a grudge between the ones that kill you or the ones you kill them.
The Nemesis system.
The Nemesis, yeah. I was like blown away by that. I thought it was really cool. But I got to play it super early, and it was so early that you had to have a handler with you. Like a guy sat right next to you and told you exactly what you could do, what you couldn't do. It was interesting.
Interesting thing, I actually watched a video about this. That system, that Nemesis system, is patented, and no other game can do it.
Wow, that's too bad.
And same thing with the Mass Effect chat wheel. That's been patented as well.
Those are both too bad. It'd be really nice to have those in other games.
The patents really screw things up. I saw this on a Gymquisition a couple months ago, but there was a patent on loading screens. Or what was it? It was like mini games during loading screens or games during loading screens.
Yeah.
One game did it, had a patent on it, and sat on it for a long, long time. So no other games could do it. So that's kind of why we've all been stuck with just the same old loading screen. And we think like the industry hasn't progressed, but actually there's a lot of legal things holding up. Like when the Nemesis system came out, I thought this is fantastic. We're going to see this everywhere. We have seen it twice in those two
in their own games.
Yeah, in those two games, Shadow of Mordor and the sequel.
They should at least license it out and get royalties for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, financially, I guess it's not good for them to do that or something. I don't know. I'm sure they have their reasons, but unfortunately, we the customers suffer for it.
Yeah, for sure. I did get in a loop though, where like I had pissed off. I had died to them because every time they kill you, they get powered up. Mm-hmm. And like if that happens enough, you're going up against a super powered fucking army that you're never going to beat. So it can work against you.
Yeah, I never played the second one. I really liked the first one though. I beat that in a week.
Second one,
that was the one with the DLC or the microtransaction drama. Like, yeah, you could buy you could basically buy like a level booster or something and get to the game like way faster, and it just, that was not a good look. Next question from Brennan47. Have you guys heard of...
Wow, I didn't get to answer. You're such a dick.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
What am I missing?
What are some of your favorite memories being announced during E3? When God of War was announced, the newest one, I was a big fan. I was super surprised by the tonal change and mechanic change. Anything from the PC gaming show that you saw last year that's going to be a great game for you? No, quite the opposite. One game was complete doo-doo that they showed, and that was Total War Troy, and it was just not good.
Carrion.
Carrion was, that was one of those.
I just gotta finish
Test
it, man.
it.
I got less than an hour left, probably.
Okay, next question from Brendan47. Have you guys heard of the upcoming survival horror game Callisto Protocol? If so, what are your thoughts on it? If not, I would recommend checking it out if you're fans of the Dead Space franchise.
Let's throw it on the radar.
Yeah, big fan of the Dead Space franchise, actually. I did not beat the third one. I think the third one kind of got caught up in some of the microtransaction stuff that was really going on around that time. But I've always wanted to play that to just complete the series. I played the first one twice through.
Yeah.
Bobby, I'll play Dead Space 2. I mean Dead Space 3 the way it's supposed to be played, and that's co-op with you if you want.
Oh, that's a co-op game? I have it on Origin. We've had trouble on Origin before.
I have it on Origin as well.
I believe I have it on Origin. Yeah.
But I'll play with you.
That would be cool. Let me make sure I have that. I think I got that when SimCity crashed on the first day. The servers crashed, and so they gave out a free game, and it was all a bunch of old games. I think that's when I got Dead Space 3.
Dude, I totally thought you were gonna just oh, that game has that, and just keep on going, not acknowledging that he wants to play with you.
No, I would love to play co-op on that one. Just a little bit I saw of that trailer for Callisto Protocol. It looks like sci-fi space horror, but the guy's also got the thing in the back of his neck that shows the health. I thought one thing that Dead Space did incredibly well was create such a cinematic experience by getting rid of so much of the UI.
Yeah.
They put the health bar on the
UI
back of
is
his character.
Yeah. You're the UI. Your body's character.
Yeah, it really, God, I thought that was just so amazing how they did that. The second Dead Space, I got a lot of problems with that game, but I don't know if we should get into it. But
I love that game. It's one of my crowning achievements. But
the second Dead Space?
Yeah. No, I did the beat the game without saving.
Oh,
or you only get 3 saves.
Fight each other. Fight each other right now.
Yeah, what's so wrong about this fucking game, man? It's arguably one of the greatest games of all time.
Dead Space 2. That game ruined everything it did in the first game, I felt like.
If you think that ruined the first game, then the third one's going to absolutely shit on your memory of the first game.
Yeah, no, I'm expecting
turned
that.
to topsy-turvy.
That's okay. But we're talking about games that are 10 plus years old. I think the first Dead Space came out in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, my expectations aren't very high.
Is it Alien versus Aliens, Bobby? One was dark and ominous, the other one just kept throwing monsters at you?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, they really just... The first one really built up, and it was very creepy, and it was very atmospheric, and the monsters would pop out, and, it escalated very well. The second one, the opening scene, I think, people are getting eyes gouged out, and there's just blood everywhere.
I show that to Leslie, because Leslie's like, I want to play a scary game with you. I.e., in the first 15 seconds, this guy's like, you're Isaac, right? And you're like, yeah. He's like, okay, I'm getting you out of here. And he starts unbuckling, your fucking chains, and then all of a sudden a thing just comes out and starts draining his brain out of his forehead.
Yeah,
you're like, what the fuck? And
right away, just
freaks out.
Although there were some things, I can't remember the story too well, but there were some things that I liked about it, how it kind of explained a little bit more of what was going on and how that obelisk or whatever was driving people crazy. And then if you watch the marker, and then if you watch the movie that I think we talked about last week, I did a video game review for it, the Dead Space movie Aftermath, that serves as it tells a story in between the two, but it ends right where the second game picks up. So if you watch that movie and start playing the second game, you don't miss a beat.
Captain Gummy mentioned something really good that I think that you would like, Bobby. There's a documentary on Dead Space. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's on YouTube.
Is it the one where they do a documentary about each game?
No. It's a documentary about Dead Space specifically, and it has to do with the creator and the writer of it. And this will prove if you watch it or not. Maybe you might not remember if you have, but it's specifically the guy opens up the story with, we wanted to make a game that was Resident Evil in space, and we wanted to get rid of the isometric cameras. And so that's how it opens. It's very good. It's called Ars Technica.
Ars Technica. No, I haven't seen this. I saw they were doing a series on games. Yeah, that one, War Stories, how Dead Space's scariest scene almost killed the game developer. Yeah, that's a great one there, but that one's only like 20 minutes long. But no, I'd be
Yeah.
interested to watch the full length documentary on that.
Yeah. What's funny is that little snippet is really good. It's just good. Both of them are good.
Mm-hmm. I'm interested to see what Dead Space 3 would be like in a co-op environment, because that solitude you have in the first two games, especially the first one, really adds to the fear factor. And I think you'd kind of lose that in the co-op.
Yeah, no, you definitely do. I played through the whole game. You definitely do. There is some DLC I didn't get to play, but the game is still fun. There's another system that kind of breaks the scariness, and that's the gun customization. Like you can make any gun you want as long as you have the parts for it. So yeah, well, if you want to play it, we can play it.
Yeah, I'd be down to check that out. I remember the first one having great boss fights too, particularly one in that tube. Really
Oh
liked
yeah,
that one. That was a great boss fight.
the boss fights in 3 are a little different, but it's good. Like it got review bombed when it first came out, but I think it's a solid 7.
Yeah, they had all this DLC you could get to get like better weapons because the whole gun customization thing. But I'm sure if I played it vanilla, it'd be fine.
Yeah, no, it was like the same thing that you stated before about like where you can, I forgot the other game you talked about, but you could essentially pay for like an experience boost, but it was like a weapons boost, and you can get like essentially the strongest guns at the beginning of the game and just walk through the whole game.
Yeah, there's a period of time where that was just a little too common, unfortunately.
He does not look like a developer, man. He looks like a football guy or something. He's a big dude for be making games.
Yeah, it's a great it's a great movie. You should watch it.
Cool. Next question from Warconius again. Did you guys ever talk about Jedi Fallen Order? The game is fire. So damn good. Respawn are at the top of their game.
Bobby played it. He's the one who reviewed
I played
that.
a good amount of it, and I was actually thinking this week, because I started playing Mysteries of the Sith, which was the expansion for Dark Forces 2. Apparently they made a remastered version of it, some like fan-made, of course. So I was checking that out. And I got to thinking about Fallen Order and how I never finished it and how I actually kind of enjoyed that game.
Yeah. You had your nitpicky stuff, but overall, I believe you enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's hard to tell with you, Bobby. You could hate something and sound like you like it.
I really like the saber fights in that. And I think that's kind of around where I left off with it. But I played it off of your account, and you had it on Origin, or I think you had Origin access at the time.
Yeah.
So I think if you had started your own playthrough, it probably deleted mine. We're talking
I never
years
played
ago.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
No?
No.
Okay. Maybe
But I don't know if I have Premiere anymore, or if you even need Premiere to play it anymore.
Yeah, or if that save file even exists. Probably better for me to start from scratch anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been thinking about going back to that one.
It's now the proper age where it's old enough where you can play it and enjoy it.
It's not that old. It's only a couple years, right? But how often do we get those single player games? I'd love to check out Rogue Squadron too, but I think Jedi Fallen Order.
It's not free yet, so I'll stay away.
It's Rogue Squadron on sale for $15.99 recently. That's not
pick
not
it up.
much. But yeah, we talked a lot about that game.
Nick, did you play it?
Fallen Order, no, but it looks fire. It is included in EA Play, so I might play it.
Yeah.
I love Souls games. I pretty much played every mainstream Souls clone.
It's light on the Souls-like, right?
It's not. Yeah, I mean, Souls-like implies difficulty. It's not a difficult game. The saber fights, the boss fights with the sabers is great. That kind of feels a little more Souls-like.
Yeah.
And then the way that you just like travel kind of an open world map, and you have in Souls they call it the Hearthfire, I think.
Yeah.
But in Fallen Order it's called something else. But it's not nearly as difficult or punishing. Okay.
Ooh.
Next question from Nyonko. What do you think of the future of game development if it's helped by AI? If developers and other artists lose their job because of AI, will a game be labeled 100% made by humans at some point?
So I've heard futurist talk. I used to really got into futurist stuff. Apparently, initially, all the creative stuff is going to stay made by humans. It's apparently it's really hard for them to come up with, but now if you look, you can see art and music created straight by AI, and it sounds pretty fucking good. Like you could tell that it's a little weird, but yeah, they're writing stories. They are making art, like painted art, like like a painting, and they are making songs. You could probably find one right now that we could play, Christian. There's, it'll sound like
one for Eurovision 2 years ago.
They'll pick a genre and it'll just make a song. It won't make any sense. The words won't make any sense, but it sounds like a decent song.
Yeah, they played it on a podcast I used to listen to many years ago, but there was a computer that was making Christmas carols, just downloading all this data and using that to make Christmas carols. And it was ridiculous. The lyrics were absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. But melodies, music is very mathematical. It's very easy to teach your computer how to do that. Games seem so much more complicated, though, and especially the creative side. I don't know. People have a hard enough time making games. Like, what even makes a good game? It's such a weird little thing. There's got to be like some X factor in it that just makes it a good game.
Because I've always thought, so the ultimate game for me would be the holodeck, right? Like as soon as I saw that on Star Trek Generation, I was like, that is a dream.
The work or the design there, and
under some structure that humans have made.
Yeah, they put the outline or the guidelines there, and it works within those parameters to make a new map. But none of that stuff is really important. We used to see this all the time with games. They'd advertise like thousands of different level types or creatures, and it's just you go in there and it's like a map that's, this one's blue and that one's red, or this one has brown trees and that one has purple trees, and that's the only difference. And they're counting that as like a whole new world to explore. It's like, no, it's just like the same thing, but things are moved around a little bit and they're different colors. So I don't know. I don't really. I'm not like into a lot of futurist stuff like you are, but to me, it seems like we're so far away of computers making any sort of relevant creative decisions.
I would agree. I can agree.
AI generated rock music.
Like it's definitely not bad,
It's definitely not a video game either.
Yeah, sure. We're talking about the future though.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Nick? You think robots are going to come take our jobs?
Mine eventually, yes. Hands down. But as far as art and stuff, yes and no. Games, I think the one thing that makes games unique is a culmination of so many different things that have to work out perfectly. It's like making the perfect breakfast. Like you have to have so many different ingredients working out well to have a good time. Another thing is that a lot of games are so personal, and unless you get that personal aspect for a lot of stuff, you're not going to get blockbusters from AI. In my opinion, I might be completely wrong. In like 15 years, every game might be generated by an AI. I may be able to play my Warhammer Dark Souls roguelike game where I play as 1,000 Suns because no one ever gives them love. But we never know. We'll see.
What is very close is shortcuts. I think the game making process is going to be shortened up quite a bit. You could tell a computer randomly make a believable landscape. That used to have to be handcrafted in a computer. Every hill and every valley had to all be created. Now you could just be like, give me a landscape, and then we'll go from there.
I'm reminded of a Futurama episode. I believe it's the one where Zoidberg's uncle is making a movie, and the opening credits are playing for this movie, and it says, starring Acting Bot 3000, directed by Directing Unit 347G, and it's just like all the credits are just robots because the character, there's a actor robot in there, Calculon.
Calculon.
Yeah,
the golden robot.
He's like the thespian robot. Yeah. So I don't know, man. Maybe we'll be there in the year 3000 when Futurama takes place.
I'll be there, Bobby. I don't know
Speaking of that, there was actually a poll that was done in the United States, and it was, would you rather live forever or be able to freeze yourself and unfreeze yourself at will? And 1/3 of people chose have immortality, but you keep aging. And then 2/3 chose freeze yourself and unfreeze yourself when you want.
Probably the smarter decision.
Yeah, I would freeze myself.
I think if you chose to live forever, you would eventually come to regret that decision.
You could always jump in the sun.
Yeah.
I suppose. How are you going to get to the sun?
Well, in the future, man, they're going to have sun pods, man. Have you got your sun pod yet?
Yeah, the sun pod. He's 17,000 years old. He doesn't want to live anymore. Sun pod.
All right. What's everyone playing next week besides Core?
Definitely that game that I've been playing that I forgot the game name already.
Citadel?
Tainted Grail.
Conquest.
Yep. Bobby's brain is 50 times better than mine. I make it up in dick. Anybody? No? All right. It's a dick joke.
Uncanny for me. Absolutely unforeseen. I'm going to be playing Daze Gone. I want to get further in before I drop it. I want to get at least another 2 hours in if I decide to drop it.
I don't think you're going to regret it, dude. I feel like it gets better.
Yeah. Dude, once you get to the second settlement and you start dealing with different stuff, it's pretty fun. Yeah, and then I'm also going to play Core, obviously, because I have to.
So we're going to do this weekly or bi-weekly?
I was thinking bi-weekly because it can be tough, but Core, I think we could all do that within a week, right?
Sure.
Yeah, it's free.
All right. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to be playing next week. I got to probably tear myself away from Star Wars Galaxies. It's probably the best thing to do.
Or not. You could probably come away with a couple stories.
Probably not.
No.
Well, I'm out there killing wampas and womp rats.
It's just a grind, huh?
Yeah, like I don't know. There could be, if I start doing some, if I start playing with other people, then maybe there'll be some interesting things that come up.
Level 16 sounds pretty lofty. How many levels are there? 60?
The leveling system confuses me. I'm not exactly sure how it works. I know when you start building your talent points, it kind of adds to your overall level, but it's not like I'll unlock a new talent in the talent tree and then nothing will happen. I'll unlock another one or two, and then finally it'll just give me a bunch of points on my overall level. So I'm not really sure what the math is there. But
maybe
I've spent a good amount of time in the game. So I don't know. I'll find something else to get into this week. I had my eye on quite a few things, but not sure what's going to pan out.
Try the Tainted Grail, Bobby. I want to see what you think. Plus, it's free.
Yeah, maybe I will.
I'd appreciate that. All right. Speaking for all these guys and myself, bye. Talk to you later. Also, tits.
You know what I realized? I'm wondering if the issues that we're having with the stream and the internet connection is because of the 1080p or the 1080 60p that we're now using on Discord.
We could definitely turn that down.